The Path to Arahantship by Luang Por Maha Boowa. Citta, or the heart-mind's essential knowing nature. Of foremost importance is the chitta, the heart-mind's essential knowing nature. It consists of pure and simple awareness. The chitta simply knows, awareness of good and evil, and the critical judgments that result are merely activities of the chitta. At times, these activities may manifest as mindfulness, at other times, wisdom. But the true chitta does not exhibit any activities or manifest any conditions at all. It only knows. Those activities that arise in the chitta, such as the awareness of good and evil, or happiness and suffering, or praise and blame, are all conditions of the consciousness that flows out from the chitta. Since it represents activities and conditions of the chitta that are, by their very nature, constantly arising and ceasing, this sort of consciousness is always unstable and unreliable. The conscious acknowledgement of phenomena as they arise and cease is called vijnana, or translated to consciousness or sense consciousness. Vijnana is the Pali word for consciousness. For instance, vijnana acknowledges and registers the sense impressions that are produced when sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and tactile sensations contact the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body respectively. Each such contact between an external sense sphere and its corresponding internal base gives rise to a specific consciousness that registers the moment at which each interaction takes place, and then promptly ceases at the same moment that the contact passes. Vijnana, therefore, is consciousness as a condition of the chitta. Sankhara, or thoughts and imagination, is also a condition of the chitta. Once the chitta has given expression to these conditions, they tend to proliferate without limit. On the other hand, when no conditions arise at all, only the chitta's inherent quality of knowing is apparent. Still, the essential knowing of the average person's mind is very different from the essential knowledge of an arahant. The average person's knowing nature is contaminated from within. Arahants are free of all contamination. Their knowing is a pure and simple awareness without any adulteration. Pure awareness, devoid of all contaminants, is supreme awareness. A truly amazing quality of knowing that bestows perfect happiness as befits the arahant state of absolute purity. This supreme happiness always remains constant. It never changes or varies like conditioned phenomena of the world, which are always burdened with anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Anicca means impermanence, dukkha means dissatisfaction, and anatta means not self. Such mundane characteristics cannot possibly enter into the chitta of someone who has cleansed it until it is absolutely pure. The chitta forms the very foundation of samsara, or the cycle of birth and death. It is the essence of being that wanders from birth to birth. It is the instigator of the cycle of existence and the prime mover in the round of repeated birth and death. Samsara is said to be a cycle because death and rebirth recur regularly according to the immutable law of karma. The chitta is governed by karma, so it is obliged to revolve perpetually in this cycle, following karma's dictates. As long as the chitta remains under the jurisdiction of karma, this will always be the case. The chitta of the arahant is the sole exception, for his chitta has completely transcended karma's domain. Since he has also transcended all conventional connections, not a single aspect of relative conventional reality can possibly become involved with the arahant's chitta. At the level of arahant, the chitta has absolutely no involvement with anything. Once the chitta is totally pure, it simply knows according to its own inherent nature. It is here that the chitta reaches its culmination. It attains perfection at the level of absolute purity. Here, the continuous migration from one birth to the next finally comes to an end. Here, the perpetual journey from the higher realms of existence to the lower ones and back again, through the repetitive cycle of birth, aging, sickness, and death, totally ceases. Why does it cease here? Because those hidden defiling elements that normally permeate the chitta and cause it to spin around have been completely eliminated. All that remains is the pure chitta, which will never again experience birth and death. Rebirth is inevitable. However, for the chitta that has yet to reach that level of purity, one may be tempted to deny that rebirth follows death, or one may doggedly hold to the nihilistic viewpoint that rejects all possibility of life after death. But such convictions cannot alter the truth. One's essential knowing nature is not governed by speculation, nor is it influenced by people's views and opinions. Its preeminence within one's own being, coupled with the supreme authority of karma, completely override all speculative considerations. As a consequence, all living beings are compelled to move from one life to the next, experiencing both gross incarnations, like the creatures of land, sea, and air, and the more refined incarnations of ghosts, devas, and brahmas. Although the latter are so ethereal as to be invisible to the human eye, the chitta has no difficulty taking birth in their realms. The appropriate karma is all that is required. Karma is the determining factor. It is the power that propels the chitta on its ceaseless journey in samsara. The chitta is something so extremely subtle that it is difficult to comprehend what actually constitutes the chitta. It is only when the chitta attains a state of meditative calm that its true nature becomes apparent. Even experienced meditators who are intent on understanding the chitta are unable to know its true nature until they have attained the meditative calm of samadhi. Even though the chitta resides within the body, we are nevertheless unable to detect it. That's how very subtle it is. Because it is dispersed throughout the physical body, we cannot tell which part or which aspect is actually the true chitta. It is so subtle that only the practice of meditation can detect its presence and differentiate it from all the other aspects associated with the body. Through the practice of meditation, we can separate them out, seeing that the body is one thing and the chitta is another. This is one level of separation, the level of the chitta that is experienced in samadhi, but its duration is limited to the time spent practicing samadhi. At the next level, the chitta can totally separate itself from the physical body, but it cannot yet disengage from the mental components of personality, which is made up of vedana, feelings, sanya, perception, sankhara, thought formations, and vijnana, consciousness. When the chitta reaches this level, one can use wisdom to separate out the body and eventually become detached forever from the belief that one's body is oneself. But one is still unable to separate the mental factors of feeling, memory, thoughts, and consciousness from the chitta. By using wisdom to investigate further, these mental factors can also be detached from the chitta. We then see clearly for ourselves, sanditiko, that all five khandhas, or the five aggregates, are realities separate from the chitta. This is the third level of separation. At the final level, our attention turns to the original cause of all delusion, that extremely subtle perversion of ignorance we called avidya. We know avidya's name, but we fail to realize that it is concealed there within the chitta. In fact, it permeates the chitta like an insidious poison. We cannot see it yet, but it's there. At this stage, we must rely on the superior strength of our mindfulness, wisdom, and perseverance to extract the poison. Eventually, by employing the full power of mindfulness and wisdom, even avidya can be separated from the chitta. When everything permeating the chitta has finally been removed, we have reached the ultimate stage. Separation at this level is a permanent and total disengagement that requires no further effort to maintain. This is true freedom for the chitta. When the body suffers illness, we know clearly that only the physical elements are affected, so we are not concerned or upset by the symptoms. Ordinarily, bodily discomfort causes mental stress, but once the chitta is truly free, one remains supremely happy even amid intense physical suffering. The body and the pain are known to be phenomena separate from the chitta, so the chitta does not participate in the distress. Having relinquished them unequivocally, body and feelings can never again intermix with the chitta. This is the chitta's absolute freedom.